Welcome to Scotty's Garage. Today I'm actually going to be working on my bike again. I'm doing a breather bypass. One of the things that I've always disliked about the Harley Davidson, and it's with a lot of motorcycles, a lot of cars and stuff, is they did an emissions thing. And on the Harley, it's really easy to spot, especially when you're running a stage 1 air intake. This right here on the head is the breather. This allows for combustion gases that build up inside to get pushed in, and they get fed back into the throttle body, and then they get burned in the combustion chamber again. That allows for cleaner emissions and stuff like that. The only downside is this right here on the bottom. That right there is oil. It starts to fill up, and you can even see it. You can see the discoloration. You can see here, that's oil marks. There's oil there. And then you see the dry on the top here, because obviously doesn't get pushed out that way. But as you accelerate and stuff, some oil always gets pushed into the bypass. So what I'm going to do is actually get this, and I'm going to circumnavigate it. I'm going to go around it by installing a barb on there. Let's see if we can get a focus. A nice simple barb. And on that barb will be attached a section of hose. That section of hose is going to come out from about here, and I'm going to go one of two ways. It's going to come down and through the center of the V out the other side, and then run down the side of the bike, or I'm going to try to see if it's possible to come out here on the top and run it right through there, or out this way right towards the front of the bike, and on the tube, the frame tube, put a nice little catch can, and that'll catch any excess oil. So instead of getting fed into the engine, it's actually going to get fed into a catch can or a filter into the atmosphere. That will allow this to stay cleaner. I get less problems inside the throttle body. I'm going to show you some pictures of the throttle body when I take this apart. I'll show you the inside of it. You're going to see the oil and all the dirt and junk that builds up over it. All right, for at this time, I got to start taking it apart. And so sit back, relax for the take apart, and then I'll show you how we're going to drill and tap and put this new connector on there and get a nice little breather going. I've gone ahead and removed the stage 1. I did a quick wipe of the inside. You can still see, this is a lot of the old gasket and stuff. But right in here, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of the dirt still left in there. I haven't really cleaned it yet. It's hard to see, but if you take a look at the throttle body, it's got a bit of a darkness to it. And inside it's really dark. I used a flash photo. Hopefully that turned out well enough that I can show it. Okay, when we're looking at this, you see this right here, that little hole. It looks like a little sideways hole. Believe it or not, that hole is a tunnel that goes all the way over to here. You can barely make it out, but there's a tiny little hole there. Let's see if I can get it to the intake. Now, the design of that, the downside with this is it's supposed to get sucked out, hit this ledge, and then get sucked into the engine. Well, it ends up dripping down and ends up coming down through here, and as you can see, it's still got oil marks on there from the filter. and it gets all that bottom of the filter oiled up. So what I need to do is plug these little holes. There's one on each side for each one of the heads, the front and the rear cylinder head. So what I did was I took a very simple little self-screwing hex key screw, just a little tiny one that would fit into that hole, and with a bit of Loctite, screw it in there. And once it's screwed in there, inside that hole, all I have to do is seal it with just a dab of RTV, just so it doesn't get loosened up or anything. I don't want it to back out, so that's just an extra protection there. There we have a nice little drill hole. That hole right there is where we're going to take our tap, and we're going to tap that so we can put our threaded NPT into it. So that should screw right into that hole once we tap it. That'll look real nice and neat. Alright, that's what it looks like now. I took the hose, joined it on both ends, and then I sliced, I made a slice in the center for hooking up that third leg on it, which if you take a look at it, very nice, simple. It's going to run right between the V. All it is taking that last piece of hose and putting it in there. I don't want to do it until I have the engine together. Once I have this back together, it should go in much nicer. I got to first finish cleaning this, but it is going to go back together. Well, I have finished the work on the bike. McGee here is checking it out, making sure everything's good. But just to give you a good idea of it, that's what it looks like. Very nice, very simple, doesn't need anything huge. And as you can tell, just like I stated, I put the hose to go right through the V, so it goes right in between. It doesn't touch anything. It's actually under the fuel injection system, runs right into the front,